A young woman walks into the emperor's court. She is already married, so is he. Within 5 years, his mother will be dead. His first wife will be executed, her severed head delivered as a gift. And the woman who started it all will end up dead too, killed by the very man who destroyed everyone for her. Her name was Poppaea Sabina. And this is the story of how one woman's ambition brought down an empress, a wife, and eventually herself. Poppaea Sabina was born in Pompeii around 30 AD. Her father had been executed for treason when she was a child. Her mother forced to take her own life by order of Empress Messalina herself, the woman from our second episode. Rome's imperial court had already taken everything from her family, but Poppaea was different. The historian Tacitus described her as intelligent, charming, and willing to use anyone if it brought her closer to power. By the time she was in her 20s, she had already been married twice. Once to a Praetorian prefect, once to a rising politician named Otho. Otho happened to be one of Emperor Nero's closest friends. And that connection would change everything. Around 58 AD, Nero met Poppaea through his friend Otho. Some ancient accounts suggest Otho himself introduced her to the emperor, perhaps boasting about his beautiful wife, not realizing what he was about to lose. Nero was instantly captivated. Within months, Otho was sent away, appointed governor of a distant province called Lusitania. His wife stayed behind in Rome. It was, by every account, one of the most obvious political exiles in Roman history. But there was a problem standing between Poppaea and the throne. Nero already had a wife. Her name was Octavia, the daughter of Emperor Claudius himself, the woman whose bloodline gave Nero his legitimacy to rule. And there was someone else standing in the way too. Nero's mother, Agrippina, the woman from our last episode, who still controlled much of her son's decisions. According to Tacitus, Poppaea mocked Nero relentlessly, accusing him of being too cowardly, too controlled by his own mother to act like a real emperor. She asked him directly, "Is my beauty and my ancestors not good enough for you?" Within a year, Agrippina was dead. With Agrippina gone, only one obstacle remained: Octavia. For 3 more years, Nero kept her as his wife. His legal claim to the throne depended on her. But in 62 AD, Poppaea became pregnant. Nero saw his chance. He divorced Octavia, claiming she was barren. 12 days later, he married Poppaea. But Rome did not accept it quietly. Octavia was beloved by the people. When a false rumor spread that Nero had changed his mind and would take her back, crowds filled the streets celebrating. They tore down statues of Poppaea. Nero realized something dangerous. Octavia was still alive. Octavia was still loved. And as long as she lived, she could become a symbol for rebellion. So Nero manufactured a confession. He bribed a former ally to falsely admit to an affair with Octavia. It was enough. Octavia was exiled to a remote island. Days later, soldiers arrived. According to Tacitus, they tried to make her death look like a suicide, opening her veins. When that wasn't fast enough, they sealed her in a steam bath until she suffocated. She was 20 years old. Her head was removed and brought back to Rome as proof for Poppaea. Poppaea finally had everything she wanted. She was empress. She had a daughter with Nero, both given the title Augusta, a rare and powerful honor. But the child died after only 4 months. Then in 64 AD, the Great Fire of Rome destroyed most of the city, a disaster that would haunt Nero's reputation forever. 1 year later, in 65 AD, Poppaea was pregnant again. And then, according to ancient historians, Nero came home late one night from the chariot races. Poppaea confronted him. Words turned into an argument. In a fit of rage, Nero kicked her. She was pregnant. She did not survive. Nero's grief was extraordinary. He gave Poppaea a funeral so lavish that an entire year's supply of incense in the empire was burned in her honor. He declared her a goddess. The same man who killed her now mourned her as if the gods themselves had taken her. Years later, after Poppaea's death, Nero reportedly found a young man who resembled her. He had the boy castrated and married him with a full bridal ceremony. Some historians believe it was Nero's twisted way of trying to bring her back. Poppaea wanted to be Empress of Rome. She got everything she wanted. A mother dead, a wife executed, a throne secured. And in the end, the same violence that built her path to power was the same violence that ended her life. If this story kept you watching, subscribe to Dark Chronicles. Every week we uncover the stories history tried to erase. Next time, we follow Nero's final days, the fire, the fall, and the empire that finally turned against him.